What's up YouTube, Zero here. Welcome to the place where gamers, witches, wizards, and superheroes unite. Today I have the top 4 PVE armors for the end game in Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Now just a note, I just mentioned it and it is in the title, but these are for PVE. That means after you've beaten the game, you're trying to grind for materials or you're trying to grind for eggs. These are not necessarily the best armors for PvP. They might be, but I haven't tried them out in PvP, so utilize these armors in PvP at your own risk. These are going to really help you out when you're going into co-op missions and you have to face those difficult bosses at the end of each co-op mission. These are also great for farming Elder Dragons because, of course, we're gonna need those Elder Dragon materials for the best armors in the game. Without further ado, let's get into number 4. Coming in at number 4 is the Rime Guard Armor. You can forge this armor by getting Velkhana shards. Let's get into some abilities of this armor. First is Divine Blessing, sometimes reduces the amount of damage taken. This is going to be awesome when you're facing those powerful enemies. You're going to reduce the damage taken from them. Then you have Panacea. I may be pronouncing that completely wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But this negates all abnormal status effects and it has a very good chance of activation. And then our third is the Kinship Skill plus Large, which greatly increases Kinship Skill power. So those are the 3 of the Rime Guard Armor. Now at the end game, there are several things to note. There are a lot of powerful enemies. A lot of them are going to be able to one-hit KO you. Also, they're going to be inflicting a lot of status ailments. First, you want to prevent those one-hit KOs. So reducing the damage taken is going to be absolutely awesome. There may also be a lot of hits that aren't going to kill you, so reducing the damage taken anyway is going to increase your survivability. On top of that, making sure that we don't get those status ailments is going to be very nice. There are a lot of powerful ones. Paralysis, which is going to stop you from hitting your enemy. We get rid of that. Blast Blight, we don't want to blow up. So get rid of that as well. So having that is going to be really nice, especially against those powerful enemies. Kinship, you're going to be using Kinship a lot to whittle down your tough opponents. So being able to apply that at greater power is going to be absolutely awesome. So you can whittle down those enemies even quicker, which is why this armor falls at number 4. Has some really great abilities, not better than some of the other ones that we're about to see, but this is a very good armor that you should check out. Coming in at number 3 is the Gladness Armor. Yes, you can get this from Gladness shards. I know a lot of you may be thinking, the Gladness Armor, I didn't even check this out. This is all about critical hits, and it's absolutely awesome. First, critical. We're just going to increase our critical rate. Nothing more to it than that. Dealing crits is going to be awesome for dealing a lot more damage to your opponents so you can whittle them down quicker. Then we have critical kinship, critical hits, fill up the kinship gauge faster. So that's working very nice with that critical ability. We're dealing out crits more often, and now we're filling up the kinship gauge faster. And then draw technique extra large. Greatly increases crit after changing weapons. So all of these play really well off of each other. Now this takes a little bit more strategy than the other armors. Obviously, draw technique is going to be a huge part of this armor. So we're going to have to switch our weapons out a lot, but doing that strategy increases your crit rate and is going to tear through your opponents. What I like to do utilizing this strategy is I like to use a horn. And what I do with the horn is I will use Berserk, which increases the crit up. Then I'll switch to a weapon that's going to be advantageous against a monster part in the monster I'm facing. So now I have a crit up. I switched weapons, so I have even more crit up. Now I have that critical ability, which gives me even more crit up. And when I get that critical hit, I am going to fill up my kinship gauge faster. While the Gladness Armor does take a little bit more strategy, the strategy you have to utilize and all of these crits that you'll be able to get are absolutely amazing for endgame when you're facing some of those difficult monsters, which is why this falls at number 3 on my list. Coming in at number 2 is the Bloodbath Armor, which you can get from the Bloodbath Diablos. You have to get a bunch of shards from that to get this armor and up it. Let's take a look at the abilities of this Bloodbath Armor. First is the evasion ability. I talked about it already. There are a lot of enemies at the end game that hit hard. Being able to evade their attacks is important, extremely important for that survivability. Then we also have tenacity, increasing our survivability even more. This is going to allow us to survive a hit that would have otherwise been fatal when HP is at 50% or more. So this is absolutely amazing to increase our survivability. Then we have non-elemental attack boost. This seriously boosts non-elemental attack. At the end of the game, there are a lot of great weapons that have non-elemental attack. One that I love using is the Grimclaw bow. The Fatalis weapons are also non-elemental attacks. So there are a lot of great non-elemental weapons that we can increase that damage output with the Bloodbath Armor. Now, evasion and tenacity combined severely, greatly increases our survivability against some of those tough enemies, like the Nergigante. We're going to be grinding against the Nergigante because the Nergigante has some good weapons, and it can one-hit KO us, even at some of our higher levels. So being able to survive against the Nergigante, as well as dealing out some extra damage with our non-elemental weapons, is absolutely fantastic for the end game. But this armor falls just short of the number 1 armor, which, drumroll please, the number 1 armor in the game for endgame PVE is the Grimclaw Armor, which you can get shards from the Grimclaw Tigrex. Now, this armor is absolutely amazing. Let's get into the abilities and then talk why this falls at number 1 on my list. So tenacity, again, we just saw it, increases that survivability. I absolutely love tenacity as an ability, especially in endgame facing those tough monsters. It's really going to save your life. Then I have head-to-head master. Winning head-to-heads makes the kinship gauge fill up faster. It's going to fill up insanely fast. And then finally, after that head-to-head master, we're going to go down to Vicious. Now, Vicious greatly increases head-to-head damage. At the end game, you're really going to start understanding what types of moves your enemies are using. You're going to know what order they come in. You're going to know that the Nergigante loves power type attacks, but may start off with a speed type attack. And then once it gets into its raged out, tricked out ability, it's going to go power, and then once it goes a little bit further, it's going to go technical. You're going to start understanding all of that in the end game. So you're going to be able to greatly counter your enemies, especially with your Monstie. Being able to do that, you're going to win a lot of head-to-heads, so you're going to increase your kinship gauge insanely fast. You're also going to be dealing out more damage winning those head-to-heads because you're understanding that a Red Kazoo loves using technical type attacks. Now, tenacity is there because there are some moves that you just can't win head-to-head. There's no counter to them. You're going to get hit. So tenacity is going to be there so we can survive those extremely powerful hits from those extremely powerful monsters. Another reason why the Grimclaw Armor beats out the Bloodbath Armor is because it doesn't limit you to one type of weapon. While I love the Bloodbath Armor, limiting you to only increasing non-elemental damage really means that you're gonna have to equip at least one non-elemental weapon. If you don't, you may be messing up. But anyway, let me know in the comments section which of these armors is your favorite. Is your favorite not on the list? Let me know in the comments section. Do you agree with my list? I love this list. I love all of these armors. I've used them a lot, and I hope this video helps you out. Let me know if you're using the Grimclaw after this one. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button for more Monster Hunter Stories 2 content. And until next time, peace.